There is a subtle difference between response and reaction, but in that difference lies the entire weight of our destiny. Reaction is the child of impulse, born from ungoverned emotion. Response is the offspring of reason, born from mastery of the self. One keeps us chained like slaves to our instincts. The other makes us rulers of our fate. When insults strike us, most men react. Their anger flares, words spill like poison, and their dignity is sacrificed at the altar of pride. Yet Epictetus warned, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. What he meant is that no insult has the power to harm us. Only our reaction betrays us. Reaction is weakness disguised as strength. It is the loud voice, the clenched fist, the sharp tongue. But these are not signs of control. They are evidence of surrender, proof that another has invaded your mind and dictated your actions. To react blindly is to admit you are a puppet and the world is pulling your strings. To respond, however, is different. Response requires the stillness of a warrior who does not confuse movement with progress. Response is measured, deliberate, and born from the mind, not the wound. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." To respond is to wield this power. We must understand, the man who reacts is owned by the moment, but the man who responds owns the moment. Reaction is slavery to anger, fear, envy. Response is mastery over them. When we respond, we decide not our enemies, not our emotions, not the chaos of circumstance. The battlefield of life is filled with provocations, insults, betrayals, failures. They come like arrows from every side. If we meet them with reaction, we scatter like frightened men. But if we meet them with response, we stand as unmovable stone. Seneca declared, "A man who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary." And this is what reaction does. It makes us suffer twice, once from the event, and once from our own foolish outburst. Imagine the difference. When provoked, one man shouts, slams doors, burns bridges. He believes he has defended his honor, but he has only revealed his weakness. Another man, struck with the same insult, looks into the eyes of the offender calm, steady, unshaken. He answers not to his anger, but to his reason. Who truly holds power? The silent one, the composed one, the one who refuses to dance to another man's tune. We must remind ourselves daily, to react is natural, but to respond is divine. Nature gave us instincts. Philosophy teaches us to master them. If we live only by reaction, we are animals clothed as men. But if we learn to respond, we rise above nature, shaping ourselves into something unbreakable. This training is not easy. It requires that we pause when the fire burns hottest, that we breathe when the storm screams for us to shout, that we measure our words when silence would strike deeper. But in these pauses, we find true freedom. The world does not respect the man who cannot control himself. He may win arguments, but he loses his soul. Respect is given to the one who governs himself, the one who proves that, even in the face of chaos, his mind remains his own. The pause that saves you. Every reaction begins with a spark. Someone insults you, betrays you, or mocks you, and in an instant, your heart surges with fire. That fire urges you to lash out, to strike back, to prove your strength. But here is the truth. The first impulse is rarely wisdom. It is weakness dressed as power. Seneca once wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay. This is the secret of the pause. Between what strikes us and how we act, there is a space. That space is small, but it contains all the difference between a slave and a master. To react is to let the world pull your strings. To respond is to cut those strings and act from reason, not from rage. When you pause, you remind yourself that the insult cannot touch your true worth. When you breathe, you remember that the betrayal says more about the betrayer than about you. When you wait, you take back the authority that emotion tries to steal. Reaction is noise. Response is silence sharpened into a weapon. The man who reacts may roar, but the man who responds rules. For composure terrifies arrogance more than anger ever could, the trap of pride. Most of our reactions are not born from truth, but from pride. Someone challenges us, mocks us, or dares to question our worth, and immediately the ego screams. Prove them wrong. Defend yourself. Show them your power. But this is not power. It is a trap. Marcus Aurelius warned, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. When we react to every provocation, we become mirrors of those who try to harm us. They pull the strings, and we dance, thinking ourselves strong. But true strength is refusing to become their reflection. A man ruled by pride reacts to every insult as if it were an attack on his very soul. But a man ruled by reason knows that insults cannot touch what is eternal within him. He does not need to prove his worth. It is carved into his being through discipline, virtue, and self-mastery. The universe tests us not with enemies, but with opportunities to show restraint. When you meet arrogance with silence, when you meet insult with calm, when you meet chaos with composure, you reveal a kind of dominance no reaction could ever display. So let us kill pride before it kills us. Let us remember that silence can speak louder than fury, and composure can cut deeper than anger. The illusion of urgency. Every reaction is driven by the illusion that we must act now. The heart races, the blood rises, the mind whispers, if you don't strike back this instant, you'll lose. But this is a lie. Time is not our enemy. It is our ally. Epictetus taught, no man is free who is not master of himself. To react without thought is to hand our freedom to the moment. We allow circumstances, or worse, other people, to dictate who we are. But when we wait, when we choose to hold the arrow instead of releasing it, we reclaim that freedom. Urgency belongs to fear. It wants you to believe that you are cornered, that you have no choice but to lash out. Yet we always have a choice. The pause itself is proof of our strength. In that stillness, we see options that reaction hides. We discover that many insults do not deserve answers, and many provocations collapse if left untouched. The world may try to rush us into anger, but a disciplined mind moves at its own pace. The man who slows his breath when others demand haste shows a mastery that cannot be shaken. His silence, his delay, his refusal to be rushed, these are not signs of weakness, but of sovereignty. So let us reject the lie of urgency. Let us remember that no storm can force us to move. For the man who controls his pace controls his destiny. The strength of stillness. In the heat of conflict, the world praises the loud, the furious, the ones who explode like thunder. But what most do not see is that this thunder is hollow. It is noise, not strength. True strength is not in the roar, but in the stillness that refuses to be broken. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. The man who reacts instantly proves he has no estimate at all. He is a prisoner of impulse. His anger is commanded by the words of others. His fear is dictated by circumstance. His pride is shaped by the judgments of strangers. This is not power. It is slavery. But the man who responds, the one who pauses, breathes, and measures, becomes untouchable. He proves that his mind is his fortress, and nothing enters unless he allows it. He may be provoked, insulted, betrayed, yet he does not hand over his composure. In his stillness, he terrifies those who seek to control him, for they discover their weapons are useless. Seneca wrote, "A man is as great as the things he lets disturb him." When we train ourselves to remain unmoved, we reduce the power of every enemy, every storm, every insult. Their efforts scatter against us like waves against a rock. Stillness is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength. It demands more courage to remain silent in the face of insult than to lash out with anger. It requires more discipline to delay action than to strike recklessly. To respond is to act from reason, not from wound. So let us train our minds in stillness. Let us build the habit of silence when chaos screams for a reaction. Let us choose calm when anger begs for release. For the man who remains still in the storm does not just survive, he conquers it. And in conquering it, he conquers himself. Get exclusive content and deeper insights. Join our membership today. Link in the description. Remember, strength is not in the chaos around you. It is in the calm you carry within. Train your mind to respond, not react. Master yourself, and the world cannot touch you. If you seek true power, begin with silence, discipline, and unshakable control. We rise together stronger, steadier, unstoppable. Subscribe and continue this journey with us.